Brodes Media.
Wow. 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 This might be a 30-minute show of me just saying, wow. Because I don't know what the hell I just watched. Now, full transparency here. I am emotionally drained. So I truly don't know how much I have left in my gas tank. But I'm going to give you everything I got left. So I'm not sure how high the highs are going to be. But I'm leaving it out there. Just like the Phillies did today to squeeze out a Game 2 victory and to send this thing back up the Queens tied. It's a huge win. Major win. You go down 0-2. This puppy is wrapped up. It's over. You win this game. Now you think, well, Aaron Nola, Game 3. Zach Wheeler potentially at the back end here too, if need be. We may have something here. You're set up nicely on paper with some starters. That's how important this victory was. Potentially saved the postseason run. We'll talk about the bad bullpen. We'll talk about the first couple of innings where their offense looked as tragic as we've seen. But there's something to note here. The Mets had a game plan, and it was, we will not have Bryce Harper destroy us. Now, Severino said, I have other plans. And that's what ignited the fire and ignited all the fans to get back on their feet and start going bananas. And it helps when Nicky Fourbags hits a bomb of his own to tie it up. As electric as Bryce was for the 2-run blast, you were down 3. It's now a 1-run game. Something happened to my body that I can't even explain. When Stott had his triple, I was shaking. No. Not just shaking because whatever, enjoying the moment. I'm talking about visibly. Is that a word? I don't know. I looked like something was wrong with me. I looked like I wasn't going to make it. With Stott and that triple and Nick's solo shot to tie it up for the second half of the back-to-back with him and Bryce. That was gnarly. But here's my point of it all. The Mets had success in Game 1, throwing all sorts of slop towards Bryce and attacking Trey, attacking Nick. And reality is, in my eyes, this was all about the Phillies constantly shooting themselves in the foot due to a lack of focus. Nick chasing trash, that's a Nick thing more than it is, whoa, look at what the Mets have out there. Wow. No, Nick, get your head out of your ass. Stop falling for all the nonsense. Now, credit the Mets for doing something that they know will work, but it's not because, I don't know, let's look back at Zach Wheeler's effort. Zach Wheeler is so gross and so filthy and so fucked up that the Mets don't stand a chance. Even if the Mets have one of their best approaches, Zach Wheeler counters. If Nick Castellanos and Trey and some of these guys in the box don't go after pitches that are not even close to the zone, the Mets can't be effective. Zach can counter your good approaches. That's the difference. It's on the Phillies. And what this now does is it throws a wrinkle in the Mets' plans. There's 2 ways for them to go moving forward. Option 1 is you play the game again. You go right back to the same well. Okay, fine. You did it, Nick. Now do it again. Do it on the road when the crowd isn't behind you. Now there's no sarcastic cheers that might snap you into place. There'll be cheers, but it'll be people cheering that you're striking out again and walking back to the dugout. That's different. But if game 3 on Tuesday goes a similar way where Nick gets 3 hits and Bryce is scoring because he's constantly getting walked and he's getting moved around the diamond and the Phillies are putting up runs because of it, and let's say hypothetically the Phillies do win game 3 with Aaron Nola on the mound which is a fantastic way to be set up right now. Game 4, the Mets season is on the line. And you've already gotten pounded by everyone but Bryce. Do you do it again? Or then are you forced to have to throw pitches to Bryce? And you see what happens when you throw pitches to Bryce. So I know I'm sort of getting a little ahead of the game here, but that's one of my first thoughts as we sit down and absorb that. Is all right. The Mets laid out their blueprint. It worked game 1, it didn't work game 2. And for me, this is a Phillies problem. I keep getting hit with this. You wanted the Mets, Brodes. This is why you don't ask for the Mets. This isn't about the Mets for me. And I took calls all throughout the week where the Phillies had the bye, and we were discussing, would we rather see the Brewers? Would we rather see the Mets? And there were a good portion of the fan base that I thought had a really solid feel on this. And their take was similar to what I'm about to lay out. It's less about the opponent, and it's more about themselves. If they play the way that they are capable of by being stronger in the box and having a better feel for the game offensively, then they'll be okay. If they try to do too much, if they're overcomplicating, if they're trying to get 5 runs on every swing, if they're allowing the pressure to take them out of their original element, then it won't be pretty. And I believe that. The Mets are scrappy. You see it. It's the 9th. It's the 8th. Their OPS is through the roof. They will continue to fight. And the Phillies bullpen is a problem right now. I don't know how Vientos got that ball out of the park. That's nutty as hell. That's what they do. Even with them being that, I like the Phillies' chances. As long as their head is screwed on properly. It's Trey, it's Nick, it's the people surrounding Bryce Harper. It goes farther than that, though. Don't get me wrong. You're not in this position without Stott, and there's been a bunch of criticism surrounding the Daycare in general. Bryce and Stott came up large. You need that. You need others, too. But it starts with 2, 3, 4 in your lineup. That's where it begins. Even JT just putting the dribbler in play to get Bryson Stott in was so massive, considering the 2-run shot by Vientos tied the game instead of the Mets then having a 1-run lead. I thought the Mets got a little too cute with the Edwin Diaz stuff. I think they overthought it a tad. And then, however they handled the Severino in his last little run, I don't know if they said, have at it. They sent him, essentially, saying, you know you don't have much time left in this game. Here's the nod. Reach back. See what you can do. And if that is the case, you got boned by it big time. There's a lot here, okay? I'm probably going to be bouncing around because so much happened. It's hard to stay within chronological order and really, really figure this thing out. I mean, when Bryce hit the ball in the 9th that just went foul, my entire heart skipped 73 beats and sunk all the way into my genitals. Don't get me started on when Kyle Schwarber check swings and they call him out, and I was pissed because I don't think he went. Now, the broadcast finally came back. One of the shittiest broadcasts again. What do you know? Surprise, surprise. We finally got a better replay, and maybe you can convince me that he did check swing or that he did go through with it and it wasn't a check swing. But man, was I heated. And you know what else can't get lost in the sauce? How about Harper's defense over at first, flashing the leather a few times when the game was a drag? Because it felt like a legitimate copy from game one. The crowd was dead. I'm starting to contemplate if CBP is even a hard place to play in anymore, because dating back to last season and then game one of this series, you're losing 3 straight games and you're on trajectory to lose a 4th straight game. And I'm going, maybe it's not it. And it's no disrespect to the fans who spend the money, who try their hardest to create the energy. But when the product on the field is as silly and as demoralizing as it was, as dead as it was, with no pulse whatsoever, you can't rise and just cheer and think that automatically injects into them. The fans' job is to react to what they are giving you. Hence why you boo Nick when it's bad. And when you cheer sarcastically for, you see a pitch that he traditionally swings at, he holds off of it. Woo! Good job! Hey, your job as the ones paying the money is to react. And guess what? Kudos to you. Because I don't think any fan base would have reacted that way. And then I don't think Nick would have had the same outcome in that game if it wasn't for the fans. Truth be told, I really feel that way. He was bothered by it. I'm not making it up. I saw it with my own 2 eyes. He made comments about us. But that's the type of personality he is. Some can handle it, some can't.